morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Congresswoman Jackie Speier, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Congresswoman Barbara Lee. We are about to engage in a town hall for veterans. This is the second year that we have done this. We call it the Veterans Fix-It event. And as a result of last year's event, my constituents who are veterans who had claims pending have received over $3 million in benefits that were owed them, but they had not received. Now, that's a big number, but many of those veterans had payments that were due that included $100,000 in back payments. So the actual number of veterans who were helped was 75. The Oakland Veterans Administration Office has been scrutinized by Congresswoman Lee and myself for some time. It has been plagued with backlogs. It's been plagued with an inability to move through that backlog. And it is about triple the national average in the length of time it takes for a claim to be processed, 611 days. The VA promises to make things right by 2015, and I think both of us have worried that there's no way that they are going to make that date based on the fact that every year there's a new 3 million claims that are filed by veterans and another 3.6 million veterans who are waiting. But we heard some very good news this morning out of Washington, and I'm delighted to announce that the Veterans Administration has made the decision to prioritize every claim that is over 2 years old. Any claim that is over 2 years old will be reviewed and processed within 60 days. That is a huge titanic change in what has been, I think, a very slow move to actually operate in a manner that is timely for veterans. I want to just share with you the kinds of cases that we deal with. I have a constituent from Daly City, David Crow. He actually registered for this event, and he was scheduled to see a veterans claim manager today in room 206. In October of 2011, he filed to augment his disability rating because his wife was now a dependent and was legally blind. Mr. Crow died last month. And since he died before his wife was added to his claim, she will have to file a new claim. That means start from scratch and endure years of waiting for a benefit that was denied him and her. And it really speaks to what veterans talk about all the time. They're going to wait, and we will die waiting. That's what happened to Mr. Crow. It should not happen to the veterans who have sacrificed so much for our country. And the Veterans Administration, with their announcement this morning, suggests that they are getting it. It is time to put the veterans first. The payment that is owed to them needs to be made in a timely fashion so they can survive, so they can keep a roof over their heads, so that they can pay the mortgage, so they can put food on the table. This year's Veterans Fix-It includes 70 VA interviews, sessions with veterans who have been caught in the backlog. These are veterans who have long-standing claims that have not been addressed. We also have attorneys from Swords to Plowshare who are here in room 202, and 3 county veteran service officers in room 219 to help those veterans who aren't on the VA interview list. We have a town hall that will start at 10 a.m. where we will hear directly from veterans leadership and their efforts to reduce the backlog, but most importantly, we will hear from the veterans who are frustrated and the veterans who are demanding action, Congresswoman Lee and I are going to demand that action is taken.
Thank you very much. And first, let me thank you, Congresswoman Speier, for your tremendous leadership. And also, just say to you that the case of Mr. Crow, that's exactly why the date of 2015 is too far out. We have too many veterans who may or may not live to see that date in terms of the final completion date for all of the claims to be processed. So we're asking, and thank goodness for this announcement today, that this backlog be expedited. I have, just to say, I'm the daughter of a veteran, 25 years, and I have many, many experiences with the VA over the course of the years while my dad was retired up until his death. And this is such a big issue for families and for veterans and for children that it is mind-boggling to see what they're going through. They've served our country well, they deserve these benefits, and I'm so pleased that what Congresswoman Speier and myself are working toward has been embraced by other members of our California delegation, as well as other members of Congress. Actually, the Congressional Black Caucus met with the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, communicating exactly what we're communicating here in the Bay Area. And so not only are our veterans here making an impact and by raising their voices and giving us the information and helping us understand why this is, why we all should have a sense of urgency, this is being translated into Washington, D.C. at the very highest levels of government, and we brought together many members of Congress to take this on also. Our veterans deserve this. So I just want to thank Swords and Plowshares. I want to thank all of our support group and our community service organizations who are here today, because our veterans also need jobs, and they need to know what services are available to them, and they need a comprehensive approach while they're waiting to see that their claims are resolved. And so this is not about talking or rhetoric or making speeches or politics, but this is about fixing a problem that should not exist. And so thank you again very much, and I want to thank all of the press for being here, because we know that it's a difficult day in this country and in this community for so many reasons, and so thank you for coming out on behalf of our veterans. Thank you.
Any questions? Yes.
In 2008, we saw then candidate Barack Obama promise veterans that the backlog for hearing claims was shameful, and under his administration he would address it. Yet we've heard there's been a 2,000% increase during his presidency of claims going unfiled, unheard for a year or longer. Why do you think the Obama administration is struggling so much to meet this demand and failing that promise?
First of all, we've had so many Iraqi and war veterans and Afghanistan war veterans come home. So the numbers, by reducing our footprint in both Iraq and Afghanistan, and with so many of our soldiers coming home and retiring, that has augmented the actual number of claims. The claims are also much more complex. The number of post-traumatic stress disorder claims have skyrocketed. We have also been dealing with military rape cases that have gone undetected and unadjudicated for a very long period of time. So the combination of dealing with a court case that basically said for Vietnam vets who had been subject to Agent Orange that they deserved benefits if they had certain conditions, and the VA taking those cases and handling them, it then created a backlog with the cases of the war veterans from Iraq and Afghanistan coming home. The complicated nature of these cases, and the fact that, frankly, we were understaffed in the Veterans Administration. We were technologically challenged because everything was in paper files. That is starting to change, but I'm making no excuses. And the truth is that promises made must be promises kept.
If I could just follow up regarding the technological aspect. We know that the VA has spent over $500 million trying to modernize, bring in a computer system. But we learned just last week that the Oakland VA office hasn't processed a single claim by computer. They're still 100% on paper. Why do you think it's taking so long to transfer over to this computer system?
I think that's a good question to ask Mr. Bragg when we go into the town hall.
Yes, also we learned from the secretary that one of the issues in terms of the technological changes had to do with compatibility with the Defense Department. It's mind-boggling that the Defense Department and the VA could not communicate with each other. And they entered into some type of arrangement to begin the technological changes only to find that the compatibility of the systems weren't there. And so they had to stop and completely regroup, which to me, I don't quite understand. So I'm looking forward to hearing the response also.
Okay, one more question and we need to start the town hall.
In a word or a phrase, how would you describe this mess we find ourselves in? It's not just a amount of paperwork. A guy died, as you just told us, waiting for this. But if you could just both tell us a word or a phrase, how would you describe it?
It's a profound black stain on the American government. We ask these men and women to go to war and to defend our country. We promise them that they will receive benefits when they return, and if they are disabled, that their claims will be processed and they will be made awards. We have failed them. And both Congresswoman Lee and myself have made it a passion to shine a bright light on this issue here in the Bay Area.
And I would just say, adding to that, it's immoral, it's wrong, and we're very sad, first of all, but we're very angry. And we're going to get this